The first call came at dawn when Piazza Navona still smelled of wet cobblestones and leftover cigarettes. Detective Valentina Rossi hurried past Bernini's Four Rivers fountain and stopped short. An angel no one had ordered now rose from the rim of the basin. Life-size, flawless, apparently wrought from Carrara marble overnight. The figure floated on its own updraft of drapery, curls blowing, lips parted in quiet alarm. Water from the fountain lapped at bare feet that had never touched a chisel. There were no forklift tracks, no scaffolding gallows, and no security camera blip showing anything heavier than a stray cat. It was the third spontaneous angel in 3 weeks. Valentina traced one cold wingtip, then knelt to inspect the base. The pedestal was lettered with a single line in Latin. Coraque. Heart speaks to heart. She pictured her lieutenant's face when she said that. Once again, Rome had grown a marble miracle. Detective, Officer Gianni called. Got you a witness. Sort of. He nudged forward a skinny man with ink-back hair half hidden beneath the hood of a vandal orange sweatshirt. A sketchbook dangled handcuffed to his wrist. This one was tagging near the marketplace at 2 a.m., Gianni said. Thought you'd want to see the art. Valentina flipped open the sketchbook and stopped on page 3. There was the angel, fountain mist haloing its head drawn in charcoal hours before the statue appeared. She looked at the kid. 22, maybe. Cigarette burn in his sleeve, knuckles stained green from some illicit wall. Name? Luca Ventura, he said, Italian vowel sulking around a second-hand British accent. Accused of knowing too much, Janie smirked. And damage to public property. Graffiti washes, Luca said. But this, his chin flicked toward the real angel, this doesn't come off with solvent. Valentina uncuffed him. Come with me. Am I under arrest? Not yet. You're a person of interest. She shut the sketchbook. In a mystery that makes no sense, at headquarters, photographs of 3 spontaneous angels were fastened to a corkboard like pages torn from an old master's portfolio. The statue at the steps of Aracoele, the one beside the Geniculum peace cannon, and today's fountain angel. Each was carved from identical marble, each held a different object, and each had appeared within a quarter mile of a fatality that had been averted at the last minute. At the Aracoele site, a drunk motorist swerved before hitting a nun. On the Geniculum hill, a firecracker lodged in dry brush, but fizzled out before the pines went up. At Piazza Navona, a loose stone had rung off the fountain lip instead of a tourist's skull. Coincidence, maybe, but Valentina's stomach didn't buy coincidence when the sculptor seemed to know where disaster would almost strike, and how to celebrate mercy. Luca slouched at the conference table. She slid his sketchbook back to him. You drew the angel with the broken chain on Aracoeli steps 5 days before it materialized. You drew the one with the flaring trumpet 2 days prior to the cannon fiasco, and this morning's. Hours in advance. Lucky guesses. Your anatomy's too exact for luck. Who posed for you? No one. He set elbows on the table, folding both hands behind his head. I see them when I close my eyes. They come out of stone dust and tell me they're late. Late for what? The next beat, he said. Of their hearts, he never added aloud, but the phrase hovered between them, vibrating like lyre wire. Valentina edged closer. If you can sketch the next statue, you can sketch the next near catastrophe. What else do you see? Luca lifted a page at random. Pencil shadowed a figure whose right hand cradled something that might have been an infant's shoe. I don't know what it means, he confessed, but I know where it'll stand. Ponte Sant'Angelo, halfway across, facing Castel Sant'Angelo, tomorrow night. An angel on the Bridge of Angels. Valentina's pulse drummed. If we stake it out, maybe we catch whoever installs them. Sculptor, smugglers, pranksters, cult, whatever they are. I'm in, Lucas said. You're a civilian. You need me. The grin was practiced insolence, but the eyes above it were sincere. And I need to know why marble whispers inside my skull. She almost smiled back. Almost. They met at dusk beneath Ponte Sant'Angelo's balustrade. Tourists snapped selfies under the Baroque angels already guarding the span. Nobody noticed Luca's composite sketch taped to Valentina's clipboard. A new angel with wind-torn vestments, sandaled toes gripping invisible parapet, left arm thrust toward the Tiber like someone hurling hope across water. At midnight, the bridge emptied. Patrol cars idled at both ends, spotters watched from the opposite bank. Valentina and Luca paced the cobbles where Gian Lorenzo Bernini's disciples had chiseled angels 4 centuries earlier. "You really dreamed them?" she asked. "Not dreams. They're more conductive murmurs, like putting your ear to a seashell and hearing the quarry where the marble was born." His gaze strayed to her, then away. "If I draw quickly, the voice is quiet. And if you don't?" Luca cracked his knuckles. "My heart jumps, beats, then skips them. It's as if the angels borrow my rhythm until I listen." Valentina thought about the Latin motto on the Navona statue: "Heart speaks to heart, borrowed rhythm." Chills combed her arms. A humming vibrated the railing. At first she took it for a truck on distant cobblestones. Then the vibration thickened into a low, resonant chord beyond hearing, felt in the sternum. She spun. One of the existing Baroque angels, the one clutching the sponge, quivered. Its granite feathers rattled like plates. Light fissures spidered down the torso, cracking centuries of grit. "Luca," she whispered, "I know." Inside those fissures, new marble blossomed, white, rosier than the weathered original, as though someone sculpted from within, pushing old stone outward. Dust spat. The sponge angel stepped off its plinth, turned, and laid the sponge carefully where its own feet had stood. Then it walked, silent as breath, 4 meters north, and froze again. But now its form matched Luca's drawing. The wind-torn vestments, the shoe in hand. It had not been installed, it had been birthed. Sirens wailed. Officers closed in. But no rope, no machinery, no human sculptor occupied the bridge. Valentina exhaled only when the angel ceased moving. She pressed a palm to the stone, still warm, as if carved by living heat. Luca whispered, "I didn't draw a moving statue. I drew after it would move. The paper is chasing real time and losing." He looked scared now, reeling in his cool. Valentina called evidence techs, but cameras recorded nothing unusual. Digital files glitched exactly during the seconds of transformation. The universe itself had edited out the miracle. 2 days later, a councilwoman's baby carriage rolled off a curb near Ponte San Angelo. An elderly priest lunged to catch it. The wheels halted an inch from traffic. No injury, and the city sighed relief. Meanwhile, the angel held a marble baby shoe at the precise spot where the carriage would have smashed. Valentina met Luca in a Trastevere cafe, red brick walls plastered with indie band posters. He hunched over espresso, sketchbook shut tight like a vault. "I've sketched another," he murmured. "The last. Last? Because," he swallowed, "it's hard as mine." He showed her the drawing. An angel collapsed to one knee, arms crossed over chest, wings fractured. The face was Luca's, eyes carved half open, pupils clouded. Below, instead of Latin, negative space spelled Valentina, like light cut from stone. She felt suddenly weightless, as if someone had scooped her out of her own body. "Where?" she asked. A single word shivered from him. "Aventine." They climbed Aventine Hill after midnight. Rome sprawled below in amber circuitry. Push-broom clouds curtained the moon. The garden above Santa Sabina was deserted, except for orange trees and shattered light bulbs rats had stolen wire from. Valentina's flashlight carved tunnel beams through leaf shadow. "Do you feel it?" Luca asked. She did, an arrhythmia inside the earth that matched her pulse 1 beat late, then 1 beat early, as though the hill itself were trying to sync with her. She heard spoken, without sound, the Latin from the first angel, Corrod Corloquitur. At the garden's center stood a low, derelict chapel, used these days as a tool shed. Its door, once barred, gaped open. Marble dust curled across the threshold. Valentina drew her sidearm. "Stay behind me." But Luca stepped ahead, pulled by invisible twine. He vanished into the chapel. She cursed softly and followed. The interior smelled of wet limestone and rain that had never fallen. Along every wall huddled unfinished marble forms, torsos half freed from rock, wings embryonic. The dust on the floor glistened like frost. At the far end, beneath a skylight, squatted an industrial block of marble. A man in a sculptor's smock knelt before it, mallet poised. He was in young white stubble, eyes milked by cataracts, but his arms were roped with the strength of decades. He did not turn when Valentina raised her gun. "Step away. It cannot be stopped," the sculptor said, voice cavernous. His accent was pure Roman, yet archaic, the cadences of liturgy. "The angel chooses when to be born," Luca whispered. "Maestro Corrado." Awe cracked his usual sarcasm. "You died last year." "I finished dying last year," Corrado corrected. "But marble is patient. Your heartbeats are not." Valentini moved closer. Corrado's chisel hovered above a vein of pink ore like a conductor's baton above first note. "What are you?" she asked. Corrado smiled, cataract eyes glimmering. "A translator. The stone speaks miracle, I speak hammer, and together we write responses to the prayers no priest hears." "Why the near accidents?" she demanded. "Why appear where tragedy almost happens?" "Because almost is the gap in which we fit hope," he said. "Humans do the first saving act. Angels finish the sentence." Valentina weighed the words, saw uncertain metaphor. But Luca watched Corrado as though seeing his own obituary. "My heart," Luca said. "Why does the next angel wear my face?" Corrado turned toward him finally. "Because you drew them into life. Each sketch surrendered a fraction of your pulse." Stone remembered the donor. Luca staggered. Valentina grabbed his elbow. His skin felt sub-zero. "How many beats left?" Corrado asked, not unkindly. "3," Luca whispered. "Maybe 2." Corrado nodded. "Then we must finish your angel before the last." He raised the mallet. Valentina fired a warning shot into the ceiling. Marble powder rained. "Nobody touches that block," she said. "We'll find another miracle to trade. But he keeps his heart." Corrado's face creased with sorrow. "Detective, you love him. I hear it thrum behind your bravado. But love can no more bargain with physics than with God." He touched the chisel. Light erupted along stone as if the tip struck a vein of lightning. The entire chapel thundered. Unfinished statues rattled awake, wings clapping dust clouds. One stepped from its wall niche, headless, still tethered to marble umbilicus. Another flexed fingers too raw for fingernails. Valentina holstered her pistol, bullets were nothing here, and pulled Luca toward the door. But the chapel had sinkholed behind them, threshold swallowed by stone blossoms, way sealed. "No exit until the angel claims its heart," Corrado said amid raucous stone choir. "When the marble breathes, the wall will open." Luca clutched his chest. Sweat glazed his temples. "Vow," he whispered. "On page 32 of my sketchbook. The last blank page, draw something, anything, words, shapes. If you draw, you'll lend beats that aren't mine." She shook her head, tears salting vision. "I can't steal your death." "It's not theft. It's partnership. Heart speaks to heart, remember?" He pressed the sketchbook into her palms. "Draw what you want to save." She flipped to the blank page, took the graphite he shoved at her. His fingers shook. She began. A simple outline, 2 profiles facing, almost a kiss, line curling into infinity where their pulses overlapped. She had not drawn since childhood. The loop went crooked, but the graphite grew hot, smudging like embers. Luca exhaled relief, color spilling back into his cheeks. Corrado's mallet hovered uncertain. "Enough," Valentina ordered. "Free us." Corrado laid down tools. Marble flowers wilted, statues slumped inert. A seam cracked open the chapel wall, revealing Aventine moonlight. but the block in the center remained. It had changed. Half emerged from it was the kneeling angel, Luca's face gentle now instead of dying. The heart area held a hollow cavity shaped like an open door. The cavity pulsed faint rosy light that did not belong in stone. Keep it, Corrado told her. So long as the cavity is empty, the angel sleeps, and Luca keeps beating. Valentina's head spun. And if someone fills that cavity? Then the statue wakes and the barter of heartbeats resumes. Guard it, detective. Corrado stepped back into shadow, aging centuries and seconds, body crystallizing to dust. A sigh of wind scattered him across the chapel. Nothing remained but a carpenter's apron folded on the floor. For 2 months, Rome produced no new angels. The press grew bored, moved on to a scandal about counterfeit eclairs. Valentina returned to homicide cases grounded in messy humanity. But at night, in her apartment near Campo dei Fiori, she kept the half-born angel standing against a wall. Its hollow chest glimmered like pearl even in dark. Luca crashed on her sofa most evenings, ostensibly because his loft's boiler was temperamental. They fell into odd domestic peace, she cooking arrabbiata too spicy, he criticizing her plating like a reality show judge, both laughing harder than either remembered possible. When he slept, she sometimes sketched him, discovering rhythms of charcoal she'd forgotten, discovering, too, that each stroke calmed her own restless blood. One dawn, she woke to find Luca staring at the statue. "Do you hear it?" he asked. She joined him. From the cavity emanated a hushed percussion, twin heartbeats, one slightly behind the other, like an echo over water. "2 hearts?" she breathed. "They're ours." He touched her fingertips, placed them over the hollow. The stone was warm as skin. "It's asking a question." "What question?" "Whether we trust it? Whether we trust each other enough to stop borrowing time." She wanted to say yes, but centuries of policing rational crime made superstition itch. "Give a statue our hearts? Even metaphorically?" Luca pressed on. "Corrado said angels finish sentences humans begin. We started this by saving each other. Let's finish it." He lifted a small object she had not noticed on the nearby table, the marble baby shoe from the bridge, delivered anonymously weeks ago. It fit the cavity's lower edge like a keystone. Valentina's pulse hammered. "If we do this, are we trapped? Become stone or become more alive?" His voice was a vow. A beat shared is a beat doubled. She remembered the nurse once telling her mother how pacemakers worked, a device lending rhythm when the heart lost its way. Maybe the angels were pacemakers for cities, providing rhythm where humanity faltered. Valentina kissed Luca, soft but decisive. Then together they guided the baby shoe into place, the cavity sealed around it. Light flooded the apartment, soundless yet orchestral. Stone wings unfurled the last marble feathers. The angel rose, stepping clear of its chrysalis of dust. Its eyes opened. Luca's eyes, but translucent, dreaming. It regarded them, smiled, and walked to the balcony doors, which it opened without touch. Before stepping onto the ledge, the angel turned back, reached to its chest, and pulled out something invisible, placing it into Luca's sternum, then into Valentina. She felt nothing, yet everything. A calibration, 2 rhythms, intersecting until there was no telling whose pulse originated first. The angel leapt skyward, dissolving into dawn. A scatter of marble petals drifted down like snow, then melted in the sunrise, as if made of morning itself. People later swore they saw an extra angel aloft, above St. Peter's Dome that day. Wings that vanished with the noon bell. Photos were inconclusive, as miracles prefer. Inside Valentina's apartment, silence settled alive, breathing through 2 synchronized chests. Luca checked his wristwatch. "My heart hasn't skipped once." "Mine either." They listened to the shared cadence, neither fast nor slow, simply aligned, a conversation without end. "Heart speaks to heart," she finished, believing it now. And for the first time, both hearts, answer back. Outside, Rome started another ordinary, impossible day, its ancient stones warmed by a secret pulse they would never feel, yet somehow always follow.